Okay, so we're Jolly. What the actual fuck?
Well, I mean, first of all, there's a lot to unpack here from this press conference. Um, let's go back to the beginning of it real briefly, where he talked about Section 740 of the Home Rule Act. Let me send this to Nikki so she could pull it up. I'll send it to her right now. Let me show you Section 740 of the Home Rule Act, because it's very important, I think, that we talk about what he's referencing in order to take control of DC Metro Police. Because, Don, there's some things I just learned after looking this up, that it would appear that once again, to nobody's surprise, Donald Trump is not following the letter of the law, that this is an actual illegal takeover of the DC Metro Police, and I can show you how I'm making my case. More importantly, I want to point out, I'm in DC all the time. You guys know that. That's where I report from. That's what I'm always covering. I'm in and out of DC. I live just outside DC. I'm very close to DC. DC is not crime ridden as he's trying to make it sound. Right here, Nikki just pulled it up on the screen, Section 740. Let's read this really briefly because I think it's important. I'm just going to read the first sentence. Notwithstanding any other provision of law, whenever the President of the United States determines that special conditions of an emergency nature exist which require, it went away, which require, let me find it on my screen, which require use of the Metropolitan Police for federal purposes. I think that's what's important here. It says under Section 40 of the Home Rule Act that the president can take emergency control of the police when special conditions of an emergency nature exist which require use of the Metropolitan Police Force for federal purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Don, there's nothing federal about saying the crime is up in D.C., which, by the way, it's not.
Any other questions, sir?
Crime is not up in D.C.
Pause, Dolly, 1 second.
Reclassify marijuana. Would that send mixed messages that if marijuana is okay, some drugs are okay, but we're trying to clean up crime? How do they go hand in hand?
We're only looking at that. That's early, but somebody reported it, which is fine. We're looking at it. Some people like it, some people hate it.
So they're talking about them changing the marijuana law. Sorry, I want to hear if anyone asks him about the insurrection and also about Epstein. But I get your point. Look, he said he had to declare this a fake emergency in order to be able to enact.
Correct. But it's more. But not only is this a fake emergency, I think that's important that everybody understands. Violent crime is at a 30-year low in DC. 30-year low. Okay. As reported by, I'll tell you who reported that. I don't have it on my screen, but 30-year low. Also, even in an emergency, Section 740 of the Home Rule Act states the president can only take emergency control of the police for federal purposes. I ask anyone, what's the federal purpose here? And oh, by the way, in case you haven't been watching social media, I'm on my way to DC immediately following this conversation, Don, to document some of this myself. There's already jackboot thugs at Union Station asking for people's ID and papers. They literally ask people, show me your papers. I mean, they're using the terminology from 1930s Germany. It's just, this is mask off. This is absolutely, every American should be concerned. And if you heard in his press conference, I need to point this out, he said that crime is also up in LA, New York, Chicago.
Wrong.
Guys, that's the hit list. This same thing you're witnessing him do right now in DC is coming shortly to New York, LA, and Chicago.
And that's on purpose. That's on purpose because he wants to take control of those cities so that he can finagle the vote and voting booths and who has access to voting for the midterms, because he is worried that his policies, he knows his policies are not resonating with the American people. He has Epstein derangement syndrome, and he's doing everything he can, not only to distract, but to steal upcoming election. Where's the lie, Dolly?
There's no lie. You're 100% right. This all comes down to maintaining power. All right, he's creating a security perimeter around himself in DC, so that he can't be removed from office. so that he could suppress any opposition, any protest that happens there.
Chicago.
I protest there often.
LA.
I don't think that's going to be a thing we're going to be able to freely do anymore
Hey,
without being
Jolly,
arrested.
stand by. He's mentioning the cities that we talked about.
Okay.
We would have allowed the water to come down, which I told him about in my first term. I said, you're going to have problems. Let it come down. We actually sent in our military to have the water come down into LA. They still didn't want it to come down after the fires. But that was it. We have it coming down. But hopefully LA is watching. That mayor also. The city's burning. They lost like 25,000 homes. I went there the day after the fire. You were there. And I saw people standing in front of a burned down home. It was, their homes were incinerated. They weren't.
He mentioned Los Angeles, Chicago,
literally,
I think
it was all
Philadelphia,
warped and literally disintegrated.
New
The
York.
winds and the flame and the whole thing, like a blowtorch. They were standing on this beautiful day, maybe a couple of days after. We gave it a little time because what they had suffered. Almost 25,000 homes. And you see what's happening now. They didn't give their permits. I went to a town hall meeting. I said, we're going to get you the federal permits, which are much harder.
Oh my God.
Almost immediately. Lee Zeldin is a star. He did an incredible job. They have all their federal permits. They don't have their city permits. And the mayor said to me, we think we could have them in 2 years. I was walking down the street.
Jolly, go on. He's just going off about the fires in Los Angeles. He brings up a city that's a Democratic city, and then he brings up issues with that
Yeah,
city.
I mean, well, first of all, let's never forget this is a 79-year-old man who's got signs of, memory loss, cognitive disabilities. He's got, venous thrombosis or whatever the fuck it was. And so, his ability to stay on track and stay on topic is not there. But yes, he's mentioning these Democratic-controlled cities because his plan, everyone needs to recognize this plan. It's not just implement martial law and tell the people that, you do what I say. They know that that's too much of a shock to the system and people will immediately revolt. They're doing this thing that other countries have done as well. That other countries that were originally democratic, that were originally by election, they slowly take over the elections to give the appearance of democracy, but it doesn't exist. That's what they're working on doing. By the 2026 midterms, they want the election to be so rigged in their favor that it has the appearance of democracy. And oh, by the way, they spent the last 4 years crying foul when there was no foul. So now anybody who does cry foul looks silly like them. That was on purpose. If we look silly doing it, then it'll make you look silly when you legitimately do it. So that's why the Democrats were scared to challenge the 2024 election results when they happened. They were 100% a farce, 100% rigged. Elon rigged that shit. But the point is,
now he's calling. He sent Gavin Newsom something about bullshit. Let's hear it.
It's amazing. I called, the first thing I did, I got the Olympics to go there. I was the one that got it. And by a rare thing that happened, I'll be the president. I was very upset because I got the Olympics there and I said, I won't be president when it comes, but bad things happened and illegal things happened, really illegal things happened. Now it turns out one good thing was I'm going to be the president for the Olympics for 2050, for 250, which is going to be fantastic. And also for the World Cup. So we have
for 20. And I
hope 250.
Did you say 2015?
Anniversary is going to be the best. But
250.
when I look at those people,
if I was the Olympics, I don't come here.
That they still don't have their permits. It's a disgrace what's happened in Los Angeles.
Thank you. The China tariff deadline is tonight, but do you plan to extend that?
We'll see what happens. China's been, we've been dealing very nicely with China, as you probably have heard.
Okay, go ahead. Now he's talking about China.
Tremendous
when is the Epstein question going to come? And when is
nobody's going to ask.
When is the hypocrisy over the insurrection going to come as well, Jolly?
Yeah, nobody's going to ask it. Okay, nobody's going to ask. By the way, let's just remind everybody since you brought it up.
A question. Here's the question.
Tell us what you hope to get out of that and whether you consider inviting President Zelensky to join.
So you have to understand, this is a war that should have never happened.
Okay. So he's talking about and we'll get to that news. So you're right. No one is asking. He's talking about this meeting on Friday that he's supposed to meet with Putin, and then wondering if Zelensky is going to come, and he's answering that. But anyway, let's
please keep in mind, please remember why Korea is separated to this day. Please remember why the Korean Peninsula is still separated to this day. Because U.S. forces and Soviet forces got together and cut the peninsula up without Korean representation. America has a history of making decisions for other countries without their representation, without their say-so in their own land. This is American imperialism at work in Ukraine, telling the Ukrainian people, telling the Ukrainian government they have to give up Eastern Ukraine because that's what Russia wants. When Russia was the aggressor, when Russia was the one who entered Ukraine, when we had a memorandum where we said we would protect Ukraine from any nuclear forces that entered their sovereignty after they gave up their nuclear weapons. Listen, nobody's ever going to trust America again after this fucking guy.
Yeah.
Ever.
By the way, someone just, I was like, I didn't hear it. My ears are deceiving me. He said 2050, but then he said, turns out I will be the president in 2050. I don't know. I couldn't hear the context of what he was saying, but clearly, who knows? But you're right. No one has asked the question, what about Epstein and what about the insurrectionists? He said, he talked about the Capitol having graffiti and people marring the Capitol, which was just completely, to me, Jolly, hypocritical, because I'm wondering, well, what is he talking about? Is he talking about the insurrectionists that he pardoned? Because those are criminals, and they're certainly not in jail right now. When he says, I'm going to jail criminals, why aren't they in jail?
And also keep in mind that he did not invoke Section 740 of the Home Rule Act on January 6th. In fact, they spent the last 5 years claiming that he couldn't send in the National Guard because they were, quote unquote, under the control of Nancy Pelosi, which is a complete fabrication. The Speaker of the House is never in control of the fucking National Guard. But keep in mind, he's doing it now, but he's doing it now so he can attack the most vulnerable amongst us, those who are unhoused. To criminalize unhoused persons is the lowest of lows. Don't call yourself a moral society when you criminalize houselessness. And oh, by the way, to all those MAGA patriots who may come across this live feed or even come across this video after it's posted, if you rob another human being of their freedom and autonomy to exist where they choose to exist for no other crime than poverty, for no other crime than not having a house, and you rob them of their freedom of existence and then force them to relocate to a place of the state's choosing and force state-sponsored treatment upon them, you are a fascist bootlicker. You hate freedom. You hate the Constitution. You hate everything that you scream that this country is supposed to stand for. You're not a patriot. And if this was 1776, you would be defending the king, you fucking bootlicker.
Oh, boy. Okay.
I'm sorry, Don. I can't sit back in my country and watch us violently attack the most vulnerable among us and then listen to these bootlickers talk about patriotism and freedom when they hate everything about freedom. Because in this country, if I don't have a house, I have the freedom to exist where I choose. Obviously, I can't trespass private property. Excuse me. I can't trespass private property. I can't commit crimes. I can't. But this criminalization and this absolute, fairy tale narrative that the unhoused population is the danger on this society. This is just another narrative being painted by the Trump administration so that people will look the other way as they attack them. They moved from immigrants now to U.S. citizens. Is everybody paying attention how the Overton window is just on a constant shift? Because first it was immigrants and not the thugs and criminals. It was legal immigrants. It was legal residents. It was children at schools. It was people at courthouses. And now it's U.S. citizens who have no other crime besides being poor.
He's got approval to go into war.
Oh.
Kill everybody, but he needs
have you noticed, like, he instead of short answers, how he's rambling on these answers about the guy just said, are you going to invite Putin or whatever? He's going to come. Now he's just rambling. I'm telling you, something is up. What is going on with this man?
Here's the problem, Don. I think that even after the Big Macs finally come through and do us all a favor, that things are not going to get better. I don't think that. I think that we're so far gone that, you know, the Heritage Foundation, Russell Vaught and Stephen Miller and all those who are behind this bullshit, they're going to maintain control and it'll probably be worse. Right now, they're using him as the, you know, the cult leader to get everything put in place. But the longer we let this shit go on, the less of a chance we ever have of recovering our country, even after we all wake up to that glorious headline that we're all waiting for.
Ukraine. A lot of people don't know that Ukraine.
I don't know. You know, I saw something that was interesting this weekend, Jolly, as I was scrolling through and trying to figure out what was going on with DC, and someone sent me something that was very dystopian, and it was about what the country will look like in 2050, as a matter of fact, or 2054, I forget, where America was basically not a United States of America, but divided and separated because our Constitution, you know, became our Constitution was attacked and then unraveled starting now.
Well, I mean, here's what Donald Trump has exposed, not on purpose. He's not that smart. For everybody who claims the guy plays 4D chess, this motherfucker couldn't spell chess. But he did expose, even if by accident, all of the gaping holes in our Constitution. You see, never forget that our Constitution is founded on white supremacy, that the ideas, practices, and principles that have gone into this country's policies and procedures have been founded on white supremacy. That's why we have rules against felons voting, but not against felons being president. That's why you can have 34 felonies and be in the White House right now destroying our Constitution. But if you have a felony, then you can't vote without special permission from your state, without, you know, getting off of papers, getting off probation, blah, 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 blah. That's because they made felon the new N-word back in, you know, the 80s as a way to attack the black community without overtly attacking the black community. So this idea that we have all these rules against regular citizens, but not rules against politicians and corporations, is because of white supremacy. So now here we are with a system that has gaping holes and no real clear way of how to implement when people are breaking those rules. He's clearly in violation of the Constitution when he signs an executive order overturning the 14th Amendment. He's clearly in violation of the very Home Rule Act that he's talking about right now. But the question becomes, who's going to arrest him? Who's going to stop him? We don't have actual policies and procedures in place to do anything about somebody who's drunk with power. If the other people in the system refuse to abide by the rules of that system, when you got a Republican legislature who refuses to call him to the floor, when you got a SCOTUS who bends to his every whim and refuse to call him to task in the judiciary, we don't have checks and balances. So what he has exposed is that in a system, those who refuse to play by the rules of the system are going to do whatever they want as long as they got the majority. And the problem is we may never have the majority back because now they're rigging the system forever in their favor.
I gave them the javelins. You know that, right? I gave them javelins.
I'm trying. Oh my God! So now they're talking about the javelins and what he's doing for Zelensky and whatever, but not talking about how Putin is the war criminal of the world. And now he's. I gave him the javelins. You know, this is what I did for Zelensky. Instead of the way that they frame this stuff, right?
Correct. It's on purpose. It's on purpose. No, it's on purpose. They frame it this way on purpose to control the narrative. This is gaslighting in your face in real time. This is rewriting history. All right. Everybody, listen, let's go back to what I just talked about. In America, who's rewritten history over and over and over again? White supremacists. Every time we turn around, the Civil War was over, United Daughters of Confederacy was founded, they rewrote history books. It wasn't called the Civil War anymore. It was called the War of Northern Aggression. It wasn't a war over slavery. It was a war over states' rights. This was changing history. That was actively changing history. All right. In our history books, every hero has got a white face. They changed the Bible. Hell, Jesus turned white along the way. So this is what they do. They change history, and we're actively watching that in our face. That's why it's important that independent journalists like myself, like you, like all of us, document this shit and don't let them change it.
Let's listen to the question, Jolly.
Was there a part of it? I would say he could go, but he's gone to a lot of meetings. You know, he's been there for 3.5 years. Nothing happened. I mean, do you want somebody that's been doing this for 3.5 years? What's the definition of a good deal? I'll tell you after I hear what the deal is, because there could be many definitions. You know, you're talking about a very large and complex situation. Now, I tell you, the war that I just settled with
Still not
Azerbaijan
answering
and with,
the
as you
question.
know, and Armenia,
He won't. He's not going to, there's no truthful answer
almost
he
as
can give.
complex as this one. Having
What's
to
a
do
good deal?
with
A good deal is where Ukraine doesn't get the short end of a stick when they were the one aggressed upon, when their sovereignty was the one that was invaded by a power-hungry Russian oligarch.
That's okay.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to ask you two questions, one about China, one about Russia, if I could. On China, your administration agreed to send the most advanced or advanced NVIDIA and AMD chips.
No, obsolete. No.
Obsolete chips. Well, and then 15% of the
I mean
profits
the
come back.
20s. No. This is an old chip. That
Okay.
COVID,
Motown Mimi, I think
all
you're
of the
right.
stuff
Motown
we
Mimi
already do
says,
with
I
these
bet
drones,
that
we're finding hundreds
reporters
of
were
millions
told
of
not
dollars
to
of
ask
cash
about
pouring into our country
Trumpstein.
now because of
I wonder.
Yeah.
Go
all they're
ahead, Charlie.
doing
No, I
is
agree. I
they're
think that they're
doing
half
what
of them
they
are
did to us.
more than half of them are scared to
It's
ask
so
about it
beautiful
because
to
they don't
see.
want to get thrown out or banned from
They
the
found last
press
month
pool. Because by the
$25
way, keep in
billion
mind that's where we are now.
of
The
excess
president
cash.
controls
Just say,
who
where did it come
can
from?
be in there, what free press can have access.
Place called
That's not free
Paris.
press. That's a violation of
We're
the
doing
First
very well.
Amendment, and
We're really
nobody's done
doing well,
anything
but,
about it. Also, I think the rest of them don't believe that they'll get an answer to it because
I
he's
think
just going to,
good. Might be
cry
good.
and whine that you even asked. And for those who say this is just a
I'm
distraction from the Epstein
get
files,
rid of
let me
the
say
war
something
that
about
somebody
that.
else started.
Of course,
It
it's part
never
of it.
happened.
He wants everything
If
he
I could
can to
end it,
distract from the Epstein
complexity,
files.
a lot of
But I want
bad
to
blood, a lot of
remind
bad
the
blood.
president, all those around him, and all of MAGA that we
Zelensky's
can
been
walk and chew
there
gum
for
at the
3.5
same time.
years, so
We are going to
I
pay
think we
attention to
put
what's
him in a
happening in
room. Now, I
DC,
will
and we're
say
still
this.
going to keep talking about the Epstein files.
Ultimately, I'm going to
But
put
do
the two of
not
them in a room.
take, listen to me,
I'll be
do
there on
not take what's
Washington,
happening in DC
and I
as
think it'll
merely a
get
distraction.
solved.
This is real life.
Case we have
This is a problem. This is absolutely martial
Excuse me,
law.
I'm going to
This
say
is
this.
absolutely
If
fascism. This is
you ever
not a
hear the
drill.
questions
This is not a joke. What's
on
happening in
DC, because
DC will
Let's
happen.
listen. Let's
I
He's
don't
going to
want
listen.
them.
attempt to
I
do
don't
it in
want
New
them to
York.
be.
He's going to attempt to do it in LA.
These
He's going
are
to attempt to do it in
Charlie, let's
Chicago.
listen.
And I
I
am
don't want
hoping
them
that
to be
Newsom
standing up
and
there
Hochul and Pritzker
on
stand up
subjects that
and
does
refuse.
anybody
And I
have a
think
question
that dark,
about
dark
Charlie,
them?
can
days
you
are
hear
ahead
me?
of America.
Charlie, I know you got to get out of it. Let's listen.
Okay, a question, Brian, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. All right.
And by the way, this is only on DC, and then they're going to leave because it's unfair to have them stand up here all day long.
I
Brian.
agree. I've got two questions for you. First, about DC. This is personal for me as well. Last year,
Oh, God. Remember this guy?
By one of these teenage thugs.
This is a guy. You know who this is, Charlie, right?
Got away with it. Let's talk about the effort that between law enforcement, prosecutors, and judges, because it's a recycling belt. Like these kids go, they don't fear the police. They know it. If you talk about how we've got to get these judges and put these kids behind bars.
Where's the question?
Adult crimes, deserve adult
Oh my
penalties.
God.
And
Notice how they
what's-
don't cut him off. Now imagine if it was something that didn't agree with him.
Okay, it's real. Do you want me to answer it?
Fucking Janine Pirro.
Assuming that they're 17 years, older than 17 years old, I can get the case. If they're under 18 years of age, I can only get the case if it's murder, rob one, rape, or even if they shoot a gun but don't kill you, I can't get it. So the law has to be changed. As the president said, cashless bail, that has to be changed. All right, then even assuming I get the case, I get jurisdiction, I get a conviction, the DC Council has given the judges the ability to give probation on shootings. And so then it's up to them. All of these things, the Youth Rehabilitation Incarceration Reduction Act, and now they want to seal records. So if we work hard, we get a conviction, they want to wipe it out. So that needs all to be changed.
Can we acknowledge that they're just talking about black teenagers and young black men
Yeah.
in DC?
And can we acknowledge this is Brian Glenn, Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, who works for Real
Oh, yeah,
America
that too.
News Network or whatever.
That's the
It's
guy who
on
asked Zelensky why he doesn't wear a
single
suit.
thing they
Yes.
do throughout every step of the court process and report back to you and let all of you know what's happening to them, because the people who are prosecuting them, The judges who are trying them, they also need to be held accountable.
Mr. President, you also made a comment. You made a comment you all earlier. This is the most people we've ever seen in this briefing.
I've never seen
ever, right?
I've never seen it.
Do you notice how they
Caroline.
let Brian Glenn go on?
Where's
Can
my
you
sister?
imagine if it was a young reporter from a
Caroline,
neighborhood?
Yeah, he can do what he wants.
Where's Caroline? Come here, Caroline.
Oh God, I'm done. I gotta go make a video.
Come here. Is she doing
This
a
is
good
fucking
job?
garbage.
Come here.
I can't listen. This is just a way to make America white again. This is to establish a federal force to
That's
kick
not
all
true.
the
Look at all
unhoused
the
people
black
out
people
and
up
then to
there.
arrest all the black people.
Look at all the black people up there on the stage.
Yeah, look at the diversity up there.
All right, Brian, go ahead.
And God
Brian
Almighty, look
again.
how ugly they are.
Brian
We didn't acknowledge
again.
that.
Could we build
Charlie,
a big,
Brian
beautiful
again.
briefing room, updated technology,
Yeah.
more seats?
I don't want to do that. I don't want you to be comfortable.
Can we acknowledge how ugly? Look at that. Look how ugly everybody on stage is.
No, I don't want to make life comfortable.
Oh my God, they're so
look,
fucking ugly.
Look, let's just do this. Let's just.
And these are the people that
Big
think
thing,
they're the
we're going
superior
to
species.
Russia. It's going to be a big deal. What happens, happens. I'll let you know what happens. You'll be the first to know. I'll be calling the European leaders. I'm going with totally. I mean, we have a lot of talks.
Oh,
Great
God.
people, great leaders.
I thought he
actually.
said it's going to be about DC, and now he's talking.
As one of them
No,
said,
look at the
I've
jeans on
OD'd
stage. Just the
on
bad
trying to
jeans.
settle Ukraine. They've
Oh my
OD'd,
God.
meaning they've overdosed.
Well, you heard what you did. You hear
Not a
what
nice
Jennifer Welch
expression,
said
but
this
boy, is it
weekend
accurate.
about it?
They're tired of it.
Fucking
They want to get back to spending money on
Hankles
their-
McTaco
They're
tits.
in-
I fucking died.
Biden
I
gave them
died, bro.
$350 billion.
By the way,
Hankles
Dennis-
McTaco tits is such a top tier insult.
Much more than that.
That's
Uh,
S tier.
It is, and she said for people who triple trumped,
You know what? Still a
mean
lot
voted
of
for him 3 times.
Right.
By the way, Jen Welch of
They
I've
really
Had It
want to
podcast is
resolve
going to be our
my
guest
relationship
live
with
at
the
5 o'clock
European
today
leaders, as you
Eastern
saw,
time,
is-
and we're going to
is
talk
good.
about what is it, Kankles McTaco tits.
It's beautiful. Wait. And
Such a top
and we're
tier
gonna
insult.
try. I'll be in touch with them. I have 5 of them call me. You think it's easy?
Oh yeah, but look, but look at these people that
Rely on
think
me.
that they're the
They must
master
rely
race.
on me. It wasn't
They're
me
the
who-
fucking. And look at their jeans. They all are just so fucking ugly.
Yeah,
When they zoomed out a minute ago and showed this
I'm
very
talking to them
diverse
right now.
stage,
So I'm talking to the European leaders.
just so fucking
I'll be
ugh.
talking to President.
Ugly people.
I'm going to get everybody's ideas. I go into that thing fully loaded.
Kankles McTaco tits, bro.
And we're going to see what happens.
I just want to see if anyone gets a question
One of
in
the things is
about
could be a good meeting, and
Epstein
we'll go
or-
one step further. We're
Not
gonna
gonna
do-
happen.
I'd like
You
to
don't
see
think
it
so?
Expire very, very quickly. Very quick. I'd like to see it immediately, but I'd like to see it very quickly. And we're going to be dealing.
Well, I'm
with
gonna go make a video and report to my
and,
audience
we're
this
gonna be dealing with
disaster.
I
President
want you to listen to though before you
Hopefully we'll
go.
have great success. As far as this, what we
I
did
want you just
today,
give me a minute or two.
And I think you were here for DC more so than even Russia, because Russia will be,
That's why people were there.
couple
Of course, they
days
were there
ago.
for DC.
But the Russia is going to be very interesting. But to me, what is very exciting, and we're going to take back our capital. We're going to make it beautiful again, but we're going to make it, more importantly, safe again. It's going to be so safe. It's going to be a
Oh
model.
my gosh!
And then we'll look at other cities also. But other
See?
cities are studying what we're doing.
Told you.
And
I called it.
there's some capable
New York,
people.
Chicago, LA, you're next.
But we have a great group of professionals. We're going to have a safe, beautiful capital, and it's going to happen very quickly. Thank you all. Thank you all very much.
Okay, you are listening to the hosted press conference, and that they're so self-satisfied about. And here is Caroline Levitt. I wonder if she's going to take some questions. If this is going to be the briefing for the day, but no, she said, "See you guys tomorrow." So that's it, right? Is that what she said? See you guys.
Look at
tomorrow?
that fake ass chart behind them.
Yes.
God damn, dude.
Oh my God.
damn,
All right. So
dude.
bring us back up. Here we go. So look, I just want you to hear, I want to hear this because this is what you were saying. This is what's happening in the country right now. This is who's going to be our guest at 5 o'clock today. So we can ask her about this, about going viral. Here is Jen Welch from I've Had It podcast. Roll it.
Had it with white people that triple trumped. Yeah. That have the nerve and the audacity to walk into a Mexican restaurant, a Chinese restaurant, an Indian restaurant, go to perhaps their gay hairdresser. I don't think you should be able to enjoy anything but Cracker Barrel. And if you want to triple Trump, and you want to browbeat DEI, and you want to browbeat gay people, and you want to browbeat black people as you've been doing for 400 years. And you want to browbeat this generation of immigrants that come over here and open up businesses earnestly, pay their taxes. You want to demonize them and call them rapists and felons and all this shit when the felon is the teeny weeny mushroom cock piece of shit, Kankles McTaco tits at the top of the ticket. I have fucking had it from top to bottom. White people that triple Trump should be banned, boycotted from enjoying the best thing that America has to offer, which is multiculturalism. Get your fat asses out of the Mexican restaurant. Get your fat asses over to Cracker Barrel, because nobody wants to see your fucking smug ass, teeny weeny, pink arm, big gut around. Nobody wants to see that shit. No one.
She has had it. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.